Joe Biden and the mainstream media are doing their best to defeat Donald Trump's October surprise. AOC and Ilhan Omar play amongst us in order to brainwash our youth. Iran tries influencing our elections, and France finally grows a pair. Let's get into it. If you've been watching my videos or paying attention to alternative media, you would have heard that Rudy Giuliani, along with the New York Post, are in the process of exposing possible Biden family corruption. This includes deals with Ukrainian energy companies like Burisma, where Hunter Biden, Joe's son, is sitting on the board making $50,000 a month while he knows nothing about it, and while he admitted that it's because he's Joe's son.
If not more.
In the list that you gave me of the reasons why you're on that board, you did not list the fact that you were the son of the vice president.
Of course, yeah. No.
What role do you think that played?
I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the Vice President of the United States.
You were paid $50,000 a month for your position?
Look, I'm a private citizen. One thing that I don't have to do is sit here and open my kimono as it relates to how much money I make or did or didn't. But it's all been reported.
If your last name wasn't Biden, do you think you would have been asked to be on the board of Burisma?
I don't know. Probably not. I don't think that there's a lot of things that would have happened in my life that if my last name wasn't Biden.
Another interesting connection exposed is Russia. Hunter received millions of dollars of a billionaire wife of an ex-mayor of Moscow. Why? Because he's Joe Biden's son. But don't tell anyone. There's also the China connection, and of course, the Kazakhstan connection, which we saw a picture of Joe Biden meeting Hunter Biden's Kazakhstani business partners yesterday. Here it is again. Very nice. And the worst part is that maybe, just maybe, there may be some inappropriate underage child thing going on there. But let's just talk about the corruption for now. Interestingly, and hear me out here why it's interesting, but let me tell you what happened first. Twitter and the left-wing media exploded yesterday, claiming that Rudy Giuliani was caught in a Borat interview with his hands down his pants and a 15-year-old in a hotel room until Borat went in and stopped the situation, making a very funny joke, saying, "What are you doing? She's 15. She's too old for you." It's very good. Very good. However, this whole thing has already been debunked. The interview was real, but the girl was not 15. She was 24. Also, his hands weren't going down his pants for you know what I mean. The interview had just concluded, meaning that he was taking his mic box off and then tucking in his shirt. But the interesting thing here is, why now? Borat clearly filmed this months ago and edited it months ago. It's ready for release this week. I'm looking forward to it. But why now? Is it because they're trying to discredit Giuliani, who is exposing Hunter and Joe Biden's corruption, and maybe more? I mean, if you had evidence that the president's lawyer was trying to have sex with a 15-year-old, wouldn't you expose it immediately? Or would you actually wait till October for an October surprise? It seems like the media is just trying to discredit Giuliani so you don't pay attention to what he has to say about the Bidens. What do you think? Comment down below. The why now question though can go both ways. My friends ask me, hey, don't you think it's sketchy that the whole Hunter Biden information is coming out now 2 weeks before the election? And to that I say, it's not sketchy, it's what they call in the industry an October surprise. Something to change the election just days before. A bombshell, if you will. In 2016, we had a similar October surprise, which many experts say that actually swayed the election. James Comey came out saying that the existence of some Hillary emails was found. That was like 3 days or 5 days before the election. That was an October surprise. The funny thing about that is that James Comey wanted Hillary to win, but he's so incompetent that he reversed Uno that shit, you know what I mean? FBI agents working under Comey have already pled guilty to falsifying documents to get FISA warrants to spy on the Trump campaign, and other FBI agents working under him took out liability insurance because they knew that what they were doing is wrong. People under Mueller, which is different, deleted their text messages, all of them, wiped their fucking phones clean. Why? Yeah, I'll let you decide. Comment down below. So yeah, October surprises are a real thing, and the Hunter Biden story dripping a little bit every day has the classic signs of an October surprise. Does this mean it's not true? No, it doesn't mean that at all. But the media, mainstream media, still won't cover it. And if they do cover it, they just say it's Russian disinformation. Today, NPR put out a statement explaining why they're not covering it. We don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories. And we don't want to waste listeners' and readers' time on stories that are just pure distractions. Oh, thanks NPR. Your tax dollars at work. Marinas, the stories have not been debunked nor discredited. As I showed you yesterday, the Director of National Security, John Ratcliffe, came out saying this is not Russian misinformation like the media is saying. It's not. And then NPR says it's a distraction, so we're not going to cover it. A distraction? Don't you think people want to know if Hunter Biden was selling access to his daddy? Which he was? You want foreign billionaires and nations to be able to buy access to the possible next president of the United States? Didn't think so. And if the media won't even question them about this, do you think they will question them when they do questionable things, questionable decisions, and questionable executive orders when Joe Biden is president? They're not going to question anything. And since we're talking about foreign misinformation, let's talk about Iran. Again, John Ratcliffe, Director of National Security, came out yesterday saying that Russia and Iran took specific action to interfere in the 2020 elections and damage Mr. Trump. His words, not mine. Iran sent emails to registered Democrats trying to scare them. Here's what they said. We are in possession of all your information. Email, address, telephone, everything. You are currently registered as a Democrat, and we know this because we have gained access into the entire voting infrastructure. You will vote for Trump on election day, or we will come after you. Change your party affiliation to Republican to let us know you received our message and will comply. We will know which candidate you voted for. I would take this seriously if I were you. Signed, Proud Boys. Proud Boys are a right-wing organization that Iran was clearly trying to frame, incite violence, and change the perspective of what a Trump supporter is. Since we're talking about Iran, why don't we transition to Islamic extremism in France? In the last decade, there's been an influx of Muslim immigrants to Europe and France. Muslim immigrants, it's okay. The problem is Islamic extremists, which sometimes, always, come with a Muslim immigrant. I'm not saying it's all of them, but it's some of them. And it's a big problem. In 2015, Charlie Hebdo, a French newspaper, decided to publish some cartoons of Muhammad. Because of this, Islamic extremists in France killed 20 employees of the newspaper, shot up the whole place, and injured many more. Last week, a teacher, when he was teaching his students about the Charlie Hebdo trial that's going on right now, showed the cartoons to his students in France. So Islamic extremists grabbed him, put him on the street, and decapitated the teacher. This is awful. It's sickening. And this week in France, 2 white women stabbed 2 innocent Muslim women in retaliation. Expected. It's still awful. Should be condemned. Just as the decapitation. Maybe not just as bad, because decapitation just seems more awful, but maybe. It's just, they gotta go to jail anyway. They stabbed innocent people. But that's not why I'm bringing up France. I'm bringing up France because they did something that I think is incredible and shows a lot of balls. Not only are they starting to crack down on Islamic extremism after what happened last week, president's finally coming out about it, France displayed the Charlie Hebdo cartoons on a large building, in my opinion, to show that they're a sovereign nation and will not kneel to any extremists. I'm no fan of France, believe me. But hey, here, finally they're showing some balls. Haven't seen that since World War I. Another natural transition would be to go from Islamic extremists to Ilhan Omar. AOC and Ilhan Omar, the most popular members of the Fantastic Squad, decided to create Twitch accounts in order to stream, or play, a game of Among Us. A very popular game being streamed on Twitch and YouTube. I'm not gonna put AOC and Ilhan Omar in the same category, because AOC doesn't deserve that. I don't like her, but it's not the same thing. Ilhan Omar is scum. Naturally, she invited more scum to play amongst us with them. They played with an awesome guy called Hassan Piker. This guy said that America deserved 9/11.
Has the understanding of foreign policy of like a 12-year-old. What the What the is wrong with this dude? Didn't he go to war and like literally lose his eye because some mujahideen, a brave soldier, his eye hole with their Isn't that how he lost his eye? Because he got his eye hole? America deserved 9/11, dude.
This guy is so radical that he got fired from the extreme left news show, The Young Turks. And his uncle is the founder and news anchor. And he still got fired because he's crazy. But Not crazy enough for Ilhan. And does it surprise you? No, because Ilhan said that 9/11 was just some people doing something.
On American Islamic relations, known as CARE, that the worst terror attack on American soil was, quote, some people did something.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and that all of us were starting to lose access to our.
But that's just my perspective. The left will say, oh my god, AOC and Ilhan Omar are streaming amongst us. They get us. Slay Queen. Slay Queen. Borat. Sacha Baron Cohen is a Democrat. And that's fine. It's great. There's nothing wrong with that. And his comedy is hilarious. His jokes ridiculing the president, Rudy Giuliani, or the president's supporters are fantastic. I laugh really hard. And you know why? Because I can separate the man, Sacha Baron Cohen, the Democrat, from his comedy. His comedy is fantastic. I don't care what his personal politics are. His art is fantastic. So to all the people that say they can't vote for Trump because he's an asshole or a bully or you don't like his rhetoric or his tweets, I understand. But please try to separate the personal dumb stuff that Trump does from his policies. His policies are by no means perfect, but they're overwhelmingly good. I voted for Hillary. I'm voting for Trump now for a reason. So please, if you can, separate the man from his policies. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Ginger out.